So the back door says 55 and up is senior. You know, I turned 55, and I knew that IHOP counted you as a senior. You got the senior discount at 55. I'm thinking, it used to be 65, but, and I never used it.
Well, our grocery store gives senior discount on Tuesdays, and so there's Jim. So they don't even ask. Well, there's one cashier that has asked, but most of them don't even ask. They just give us the senior discount if we're shopping on Tuesdays. Well, there's Miss Diane. How are you?
Now, whenever we are on the road and we check into a hotel, she usually calls ahead or calls through a service and to get a room. It says, "And what is your senior discount?" Because she probably qualifies as a senior too.
Hey Jim, how are you?
Good morning. Morning. I've been ready for this place. Yes. Good morning. Need to wear a sweater. Already one outside.
Brandon.
Dog's not, Lizzie's not here, so we don't have to have it quiet at school. She's the one that goes and turns it down.
She turns it down and I go turn it up. And
Her hormones with her whole thing.
yeah.
But I'm literally leaning towards her temperature.
But I'll grab a blanket before I turn it
down.
down.
Because I still stay hot all the time, and my mother was wrapped in a blanket and heaters on. We're dying.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I'm not on that because I'm still hot. We're in
And where I work out there at the hospital, it's like this too.
Where I work is a little bit colder. I like it. Sometimes when there's not enough people, then it gets a little too cold.
Yeah, people makes a difference.
Yeah.
But Yen over there in the Philippines, they just their houses down. They sleep. It's like 75
Humid.
Yeah.
Did you tell her we're gonna have to get a fan?
I mean, I had AC in my place. So we have to turn it off and that was
Yeah.
So we started Shabbat
There's some
and
they go to the mall during the day.
That's how they cool down.
Yeah. But that's like their little treat in the afternoon when it's super hot. Well, I mean, it's super hot. It's like 91.
Yeah.
And it never gets much worse.
Right.
That's it.
Yeah.
But if it's 91 and humid, the sun is right on you.
Right there.
She's 2 years older. So anyway, when we started going to Grace, maybe even just going to Grace Church before we came over. For a minute.
My buddy, James,
Hi, good morning.
good morning. My buddy's having on him since second or third grade.
Now, what years were you in Arizona for your act?
My seventh grade, seventh, eighth, was it nine? Oh, yeah, seven. Okay.
7, 8 on Sunday.
Oh, yeah.
Good morning. How are you? Good.
Good morning. How are you? Good.
Thank you.
It is good.
All right, Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Happy birthday.
Let's pray and then we'll get started. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav. We're praying now. B'mitzvotav betzivanu la'asok b'devrei Torah. Blessed are you, O Lord our God, King of the universe, who sanctifies us with his commandments and has commanded us to engross ourselves in the words of the Torah. Amen. Okay. We are in the book of Yaakov or James. We started the passage or the paragraph of verses 12 through 15 last week. And I think we got verse 12 done. I think.
Yep. That's what I have marked.
I think. Okay. So when we look at the passage, okay, it says happy or asrei, which is the Hebrew word. Asrei. Asrei. Happy is the one, which is the same word for the Beatitudes that Yeshua said. Blessed are the meek, blessed are the poor in spirit, blessed are so-and-so.
So happy and blessed are
Happy and blessed.
translations from this.
Yes,
one
from
symbol.
Asrei. Yeah. So happy is the one who endures testing, because when he has stood the test, he will receive the crown of life, which the Lord promised to those who love him. Let no one say when he is tempted, I'm being tempted by God. For God cannot be tempted by evil, and he himself tempts no one. But each one is tempted when he is dragged away and enticed by his own desire. Then when desire has conceived, it gives birth to sin, and when sin is full grown, it brings forth death. Okay, so this passage then is after, obviously, what we've already covered. Okay, and what we've already covered in verses 1 through 8, what is, or 2 through 8, what is verses 2 through 8 all about?
Trials, endurance, testing,
Trials, endurance, testing. Good.
lacking nothing.
Lacking nothing. What's the purpose of the testing? Do what? Wisdom?
To produce wisdom, yeah.
To produce wisdom, kindness,
Make it more stable.
make us more stable. Okay? And so if a person is going through testing, what is he to do?
Is to ask God for wisdom on how to handle it.
He's to ask God for wisdom on how to handle it. And what mindset does he go in with that request?
Assured that his request will be answered, heard
Yeah,
and answered.
yeah.
Assurance that that's going to happen. It'll be heard and he will answer it.
And he will answer it. But if that person goes in without that assurance of that God's going to do that, what's going to happen?
Then his prayer will be heard.
Whole different paradigm. He's not going to be given anything. Okay, and that person that asked without that assurance, he's compared to a few different things. What is he compared to?
The waves of the sea up and down.
Yes.
Talks about.
Yeah, he is that chaotic sea. He's unstable, okay? Which means he is allowing his troubles to inundate his life. And then those troubles, when he asks, I don't really believe that God's going to help me. When he asks for that, God's not going to help him. He's not going to have the wisdom. And then what does that do with all the others around him? It causes them problems, okay? Because if you are a sea that is chaotic and wavy and lots of wind, and others are on that sea, then they're all, yeah, it's splashing on them and all of that. Right, right. So that, I mean, so the big picture, the big idea in verses 2 through 8 is that he is to ask God for wisdom with that assurance. God will give him that wisdom. And a lot of times, how does that wisdom come?
Generously.
Through somebody else.
Yes, generously through someone else.
Ask for wise counsel, asking, and it's a community effort.
Yes, all of this is community, because this letter would have been written or would have been read in the synagogue in that community aspect. Okay? Yes. So, and then he goes into verses 9 through 11, and he talks about the rich and the poor and how they are to approach these trials and these testings. For the poor, his very life of being poor and in poverty is a test. And so how does he approach that? He goes back to verses 2 through 8. That's how he approaches that. He lives in community and he asks for wisdom and he glories in that position. Okay? The rich man who is rich but now has found himself in this impoverished situation, that is a test. He is to glory in that. And he is to go back to verses 2 through 8 and ask for God and use the wisdom that's there. And mostly through that wisdom to find kindness in that. All right, with others. All right, good.
Would unbelief also play in that too? If you're not at ease and you have unbelief in your heart and your spirit,
yeah, that's
or hinder what
Yep.
God is trying to do, or
Yep.
you know.
Yep, that goes down to the double-minded man. He does not have faith. He is faithless. Okay, and remember, the faith that we're talking about is not necessarily the belief in the unseen things and all of that. It's more of the faithfulness. It's the faithful one. Are you a faithful one while you're going through that?
It's like the working out your salvation. It's the continual. You've run the race. You've stayed. You've divided. You've all of those things.
Yes.
And you have obeyed that. Do not worry.
Right.
That you have gone to him. You have searched it out, and you've left it with him instead of continuing to hash on it and fret over it and all that. That's
Yes.
the double-mindedness. When you put it on him, you're good. You're praying. That's great. And then you're still over there going, no, oh my God.
Yeah.
What am I going to do?
Right.
What
Which
am I
is
going to do?
really
What am I
hard.
gonna do?
I mean,
Yeah.
it's hard. It's not saying that that's an easy place to be, but that builds what he's desiring to build in us, in our, and any trouble we go through, then we're going to come across somebody else who is going through or has gone through, and that builds
Right.
community.
Yep.
And
And
you
it
have
builds
to be
community.
honest with that. There's no mask here. You have to be honest with that in community, because if you're too proud to say you're struggling, then you're still wearing your mask and you're not actually in community.
Right. Yeah.
Those of us who have been there and done that in our life, this is a total life journey.
Mm-hmm.
Learning faithfulness and more trust and building on.
Yes.
Not a destination.
Learning faithfulness. I would say it's everything that's opposite of what's here. Learning faithfulness, learning to ask without hesitation, being single-minded, not doubting, being stable. That is what God is trying to build. That is the perfection that God is trying to build within us as individuals within a community.
But I also
Yes.
think about I'm thinking another word that says, you have not because you ask not.
Yeah.
So if you don't ask, well, you're not gonna have it.
Right.
So you have to ask. So
Mhm.
you have to be honest
And it's not like God doesn't know,
No.
not like he couldn't
Yeah.
affect change without you,
Right.
but it's for your benefit
Right.
that you practice that humility and that expression in that community.
Right?
I don't know
Perfect.
about you, but as for me, I have asked amiss many times in my life.
Mhm. Out of
I've
selfish
asked for little
desire.
things.
Yeah.
Or even if it's with good intention, and you look back and you're like, oh, that wasn't so good.
Right. And so in this, as we're going through issues and troubles and everything, it's not asking God to take you out of the trouble. It is asking God to give you wisdom to go through it. Okay? That is what this is all about. Okay? All of James is about this. Okay? Not just chapter 1. All of James is about this. Okay?
You know, our culture is like pull yourself up by your own bootstraps. It's not emphasizing the relational aspects that this is. In other words, this stuff not only says between us as a community here, but our relationship with God is a continual, you know, our prayers have power. If we don't pray, the power is not released.
Mm-hmm.
And so this thought of bringing myself up on my own bootstraps, and you know, in this Western culture of which we're part, and I mean the cowboy West as well as just Western civilization, is so off on that, so individualistic. I mean, I'm not saying that's an all bad culture. I'm just saying that culture misses the mark, which this is focusing on.
And that has seeped into the Western church, where now faith is not, it's not a community. Faith is, well, that's my decision. And don't tell me how to live out my faith. Jesus has told me that I spend time with him out on the rowboat on Sunday mornings rather than in community with my church. That is demonic to its core, because that has pulled many people out of community. Okay? And I think that puts many people in these mega churches where they can just blend in and hide out and nobody knows they're there. And then they've done their thing. I've gone to church and I'm a good boy. And then they leave and nobody, I mean, they can go in and go out without ever talking to anyone.
And it's always
Okay.
black and white, like you do this, you're safe.
Right.
Black and white. And that's just not what this is about. This is all relational.
Relational.
And walking it out. This deal like, well, I said a little prayer, sure I sin, and I'll have to go back and repent or something like that. No. Your salvation is in jeopardy. Your salvation is in jeopardy. It's once saved, always saved. You check the box, you're good. That is not
It's
scriptural.
because we've all been taught what we've been saved
You know, that's not
for,
scriptural.
rather than, or what we've been saved to, or from, whatever, instead of what we're saved for. We're here, we're
Right.
saved for repairing the earth.
Yes. We're
not-
saved for,
Not to
Training
hold a
for the
spot
kingdom.
on a cloud.
yes.
The
Yes.
reason the parable of the 10 virgins is such an enigma to the church is because they don't think right. And also the fact that the translation stinks. To say, I never knew you, does not capture what he's saying. He's saying that word know, like Adam knew Eve and bore children.
Mm-hmm.
Same word. Well, I know.
Wasn't in
I
close
know lots of you
relationship
folks
with
in
you.
here, but I ain't having any children with you.
Mhm.
And we're talking about intimacy in that word.
Yes.
That word saying tremendous intimacy. And so God's saying, yeah, you other 5 virgins. Sure, you've got lamps. You're virgins. You had oil in your lamps. I knew you as an acquaintance. Sure I did. I knew you as an acquaintance. Of course I did. But you were not intimate with me. You were not intimate with me. This relational aspect is not black and white, just like any relationship is black and white. Well, I told my wife I loved her when I married her. What's wrong?
Mm-hmm.
I checked that
How many
box.
more times do I have to tell her?
Well, I thought she understood.
It's a
You know,
continual
what? Again?
thing. Yes.
This relational aspect of completely walking it out is not taught. in churches. It's not. And this aspect of your salvation is something that's part of your whole life. It's not a check the box you're in. It ain't.
It is this all the time.
And this,
Yes.
all the time.
So yes.
So Lindsay sent me a picture recently of Lucas. He looks totally different. He had a growth, you know what I mean? And she said, it's annoying. I'm like, well, I wonder if when we have a growth spurt, it's annoying to other people. Like, it's not to God, but when we're around other people that are, sometimes they feel judged. And so, but we gotta keep our
I like that.
on God, you know what I mean? Not what other people think or what they feel judged by, because it's not our responsibility.
I like that because, we go out. I mean, I wonder if I went to lunch with some former colleagues over at Grace Church, if the conversation, if their conversation and their theology is the same as what it was 10 years ago. It's the same thing. They're spouting the same thing. They're doing the same thing. There's nothing different. They haven't grown. They haven't changed. They haven't thought, could this be right or wrong? They haven't investigated it. They just know what they know.
They're stuck in their own dogma.
And they're stuck in there. Yes. And so I like that. Now, I mean, we've kind of gone far from James here, but
Well,
it
on
is.
that growth spurt, when a child has a growth spurt, they get their gangly and they have to figure out how to now work with.
Oh, yeah, that's good. Yes.
And I think we do the same thing if we're trying to like falling all over ourselves, and we're super excited that we have all this new stuff,
Right.
Right.
I like that. Yeah.
That's a good.
They have to grow into their.
People who are less mature, we're bothering people because we're not mature in what we grew in yet.
Right. Yeah.
It's like when you give it a new tool, you gotta figure it out how to use
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
Our whole existence as Christians, once we are saved, our whole existence is about influencing others to Christ. And the way we act and our ability to show our belief is really important.
Yeah, in relation to the community, but outside of this community.
Mm-hmm.
All these relationship. It's, as a man, we tend to be more black and white mathematical, I think. Women are all about relationships. And so I see this as something that I need to grow into better. I really do see a difference, especially in Western culture. But women are all about relationships, and this is all about relationships.
And some of that is because we're more comfortable with our emotions that God's given us, and men don't tend to be. And this is emotion driven, and God gave us the emotion for a reason.
Exactly.
All right, back to Jackson.
That's good. That's really good.
Well, I just figured it had to do with the suffering and the testing. It produces either growth or it produces a standstill or a backward.
Or a bitterness,
Yeah.
or so how many disciples do you know that have walked away from the faith because they were put to a test and it made them mad? Nobody was listening to them rather than them listening to other people. Nobody was listening to them. They just griped and complained the whole time, and those people don't care about me, and so I'm out of here, type of a thing. So they've left.
Makes me wonder how people that have lost their children down in the floods, how they're probably all professing Christians. It was a Christian camp, so probably that's how they were raising their children and all. But to have this kind of a trial where you're losing 1, 2 more family members and all, and how does the community, how would we come alongside if that happened to one of us?
Right.
Because that, talk about testing faith. Can't even imagine.
But I think what Bobby said is really important. We can't be insulated, like you were saying, Brandon. You can be insulated in the way you think. In Grace Church, 10 years, you've grown nothing. But you can also be insulated in the way you relate. And Bobby's saying, don't just relate to the folks that agree with you. You have to relate to the rest of the community. This is relational
Right, yeah.
outside of just this group. And he's so right about that. I mean, we do have a commission. We do have a purpose outside of this. And so we don't want to be stagnant in the way we think and grow mentally and intellectually and spiritually. And we don't want to be stagnant in the way we relate to the community around us. We want to always be acting like Bobby's saying. I think that's important too.
It's really good.
I believe what happened to me several years ago when I got hit really hard with COVID, God has used that tool to make me ultra sensitive to people around me more than I've ever been.
It's good. It's good. Okay, so let's go to verse 13. All right, because this is important. Now, this is important to those that we talked about that haven't grown, that are bitter, because it says, let no one say when he is tempted, I am being tempted by God. For God cannot be tempted by evil, and he himself tempts no one. Okay, now my favorite thing to say is that if James is having to say this, what's probably happening?
It's happening. People are saying that they're being tempted by God.
Yeah, it's happening. People are turning this whole thing around and saying Hashem is bad. Look what he's done to me. I mean, I just hate this, and nobody's listening to me in Hashem's community. And forget them.
That's a good point. It's probably happening. Yeah, or you wouldn't be right.
They don't
Okay.
put those warning stickers on machines just for fun. They put it on there because some stupid person has tipped it over on
Yeah, on the
themselves.
lawnmower where it says don't, there's that sticker. Don't put your hand down there where the blade is. Like, really? Somebody's done it.
Somebody's done it.
Stickers that work insurance, two of them on every machine. That's where the
What is it?
insurance doesn't pay for it.
Yeah, that's right.
That's why they have, don't use your snow blower on your roof.
Well, and coffee is hot.
Yeah.
Because insurance companies don't want to pay it. So they say, put this warning on there, we're not covering.
So, let me find my place. I did. Okay. Oh, no. All right, now I've got to go back in here and.
Good job, girl.
In case I'm not here, the password is admin.
Is the
Is it all
capitalized?
Don't tell anybody. Super secret.
It starts with an A and rhymes with schmadmim. So,
Oh, dear.
anyway, okay, so the assertion of James 1:13 carves a sharp boundary between God's holy nature and the source of temptation. Okay? So, once again, how do you understand the book of James? Do you understand it? Sorry. Oh, that's why I'm on the wrong screen. There you go. Okay. Do you understand James through a 21st century North Texas perspective, or do you need to go back and have the perspective of a Second Temple period Jew? The latter. We cannot read the Bible as if it were written to us in 21st century North Texas.
By another 21st century
But-
Texas,
Yes.
which it wasn't.
It wasn't. All right. So we need to understand the context of this statement that James made in verse 13 through a Second Temple period understanding. Okay. And that is that there is a sharp boundary between God's holy nature and the source of temptation.
If I feel temptation in myself, it's not God doing it. It's the devil.
Yes, because throughout the Tanakh, the Old Testament, God tests individuals. But such tests are for the purpose of growth and proving faithfulness. Okay? If the second that you're tested, you go out and sin or you're hateful to other people, guess what? You didn't pass. If the moment that you're tested and you give the middle finger to your community and God, and guess what? You've proven yourself to be unfaithful. Okay? And that test is going to come around again. And it's just like what Jim said. I don't like the idea of the words losing your salvation. I like what an Orthodox rabbi said about faith. And he wasn't even talking about Christian faith. He was just talking about faith. And he used the example of Rogaine. Rogaine, if I apply it to my head, or David applies it to his head, will actually grow hair. Now, you will continue to have a head of hair if you continue to use Rogaine. But if you stop using Rogaine, guess what? You stop having hair. Okay? Now, it's the same thing for us. We can call ourselves faithful disciples, but in order to do that, we have to, guess what? Be faithful disciples. We have to live according to faith. And guess what? There may be times when you are not faithful. You are not, quote unquote, saved. I'm really not going to use that word because it's just so churchy. And that's the only context that we have. Okay? There are many times in our life, I think, where we are living along and we are not saved.
I think perfected might be a
Perfected might be a better word. I just know to have concrete, you have to have cement, gravel, sand, and water. And if you don't have those four things, you don't have concrete. In order to have faith, you need to have thoughts, words, and deeds. And without those things, guess what? You don't have faith. Now we're jumping into later parts of James. Okay? So this is a Second Temple period Jewish perspective of that. And Christianity ain't new. I don't care what we've been taught. This is a continuation of this stuff right here. Okay? So God, when he tests us, isn't seducing us to sin. That's not what he's doing. Okay?
Not the capricious idea of I made you human with the option of failing, with the Yetzer Hara and and I'm just going to see if you can do it or not.
Yes.
It's not that
Ha, ha, ha.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's just see what you can know.
Right. And if I am here and you are here, God is going to give you a test for this. He's not going to give me the test for that. He's going to give me a test for that. And as community members, the reason why that person's wisdom is so valuable and that person's words of encouragement, words are powerful, right? That person's words of encouragement are so valuable to me because they are already way up there.
Because they've already done
They've already been there, done that. Okay? But if all I'm doing is bitching about the world and what I'm going through to that person, I'm not listening to anything. Oh, I think we're coming back to James again. The reason why you have 2 ears and 1 mouth is so that you can listen double than what you speak.
All right.
Oh, all right. Are we starting to see how James flows all into this? Okay? It's starting to flow all into this. All right? Then, and once again, the Second Temple perspective is that James isn't telling us anything new. He's got this, all right, from Sirach. Okay? He himself made man in the beginning and left him in the power of his own inclinations. What Nita just said. No one should say, it was God who led me astray. God hates all abominations, and those who fear him do not love it. Okay? The abominations. All right? That's what they are saying. And we've got text from the Qumran caves, the works of Philo of Alexandria, all of those hold that God is absolutely pure. Okay? God is absolutely pure. Now, he may allow an impure being, that of another person, maybe even Satan or a demon or whatever, to influence this and to test this. Okay? But God is not doing that. All right? Philo stated, God is not at all susceptible to any passion whatever. The nature of God is wholly exempt from passion of any kind. All right?
You said
This
earlier about losing hair. The hair begins to, the follicles in your hair get plugged up, and that's why hair starts falling out. And that's what you were saying right there is leads me to realize that I have to be on guard all the time, that I don't get plugged up with wrong desires and wrong issues and wrong beliefs.
That's good. That's really good. Yeah. I mean, so all of these is leading us to this understanding of what we need to do. All right? As disciples of Yeshua. Okay? So, are we all kind of clear on God's immutability and his complete exemption from any kind of evil? All right? Now, so James here is writing to this group that is completely immersed in this understanding. All right? And this tradition. And he is talking to them about this. Are all of our testings external or are they internal?
They're more internal.
There are a lot that are internal, but there are some that are external, right? All right. So what is James, which one is he addressing? Yes. Okay. So, all right. So give me an example in the Bible, in the scriptures, when there was an external test. Job? Good. All through that, right?
Abraham sacrificed.
Abraham? Yeah. Perfect.
Even though the external it leads to
Internal.
it's more battled out internally.
Yeah, because Cain and Abel.
Okay, good.
Samson is an example of an outer temptation that didn't pass so well.
Good. Good.
The entire Israelite army at the Valley of Elah, the Philistines and Goliath. That was a big one.
Okay.
And
Good.
only one person, a punk kid. That's the test.
Perfect. Yeshua in the wilderness for 40 days, 40 nights. Okay. External, right? Now, it starts externally, but then it's going to play out internally.
You can't separate
All right.
spiritual and physical.
Right. Okay. So, James 1:13 insists that God's test is for the purpose of refinement and is never for the intent to seduce into sin.
So this
Okay.
rarely has commentary in the Step Bible, but this says the difference between a test and a temptation is found in the tester's motivations and expectations. The devil tempts that the believer might fail God's standards of faith and therefore sin. God tests that he might determine and sharpen true character with no focus on making the believer fail to make proof or trial or put to the proof,
Oh, that's good.
whether with good or mischievous intent. So just the intent of the tester
Okay.
is important.
It's important. Okay. So in this world, Second Temple period, there's a lot of halakhic and agadic teaching about, well, where does the testing or the temptation come from? Does it come from Hasatan, or does it come from the evil inclination that we have? Or the church would call it the sin nature. Okay, we're not gonna call it that. We're gonna go back to what was the beginning. Yeah. So, well, where does it come from? All right. Well,
You do have your, yes,
all right. Yeah,
your inclination.
you do have an inclination, and
with your Yetzer Tov to
right.
balance.
And I think the purpose of all these tests is to balance the Yetzer Hara with the Yetzer HaTov. Okay? Because you can't have more, I mean, I think you guys probably read that in the Musar. You can't have more Hara than HaTov, and you can't have more HaTov than Hara. Okay? Because the Hara is, I would say both of them are amoral. All right? The Hara is the thing, we call it the evil thing, but it is the thing that gets you up out of bed to go and work because we got to eat. We got to eat. All right? And so the Tov is going to get up and do that. But you can't have more of the Hara because then that goes into selfishness and evil and all of that. You can't have more of the HaTov because then you don't have any motivation to do anything. All right? So it is a balance. That's what the Jewish teaching is going to teach you
Where does
about that.
clinical depression come into that formula you just talked about, where you have no motivation to get up off your dead duff? I mean, to the point where I'm just going to lay in bed and start with that.
Yeah, so I think that is a condition of our death that came through sin. You know, when our bodies just start to decay, I think that becomes a physiological issue. And yes, that's where God has given wisdom to doctors and to medicine to give you stuff that will help to balance that out.
Chemical imbalance.
Yeah, there are chemical imbalances and things like that. Yeah. So, and maybe part of the wisdom of going through an issue is to find a doctor and a counselor to help you to fix that.
Sometimes it's just get up off your duff. Sometimes it's find a buddy who will.
Yes.
Who'll
And sometimes
tell
it's
you
find
that
a
sometimes you
psychiatrist.
need to see a doctor.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. And I think that, you go see a psychiatrist and you don't have to do that as much. But you're taking medicine and you don't have to do that as much. But you're still talking with people in community. You have to do that as much. All right, and then it finally takes you where you're leveled out. Hopefully.
Yeah, I know.
But you've got to have wisdom as you're going through that. If a psychiatrist is a psychiatrist who is supposed to have this understanding of all this, if they are telling you to do this stuff and you don't do it, you're just ignoring it, what are you like? A double-minded individual, like a sea tossed back and forth. You are chaotic. You're not doing anything. All right?
You really need discernment though when it comes to counselors.
Oh, yeah.
Because a lot of them are not Holy Spirit led and they know what the world knows.
Well, it does say to seek wisdom, not just somebody's opinion.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Before Christ, we were all broken vessels. And when we found Jesus Christ as our personal Savior, and we begin to apply it, sometimes finding the true, correct balance is difficult for us humans.
You can be proud of things, but if you get too proud, then pride takes over.
Mhm.
So you've got to keep it in balance and have that balance of pride and humbleness working together so you don't get out of balance.
Right. So a lot of this is to keep the internal factors, kind of at level. All right. So here's James 1:14. But each one, that's all of us, right? Each one is tempted. Okay. Now, if we're going by Nita's guide, this is a temptation where it's trying to lead you away. Okay? But each one is tempted when he is dragged away and enticed by his what? Own desire. Okay? So let's take it back to the Yetzer Hara. What? Okay, this is an out of balance person. The Yetzer Hara is calling the shots. Okay? And what is the Yetzer Hara going to do? Okay? This test is coming, and it's looking at this as, well,
It's a desire, a longing, a coveting, a craving, a lusting for more than what God has given you.
yes. Good. So,
Hunger is good, but gorging on food is bad. So
right?
hunger
It's the
you,
balance.
is the balance. Like you have to you need to eat,
Right?
but you
Okay.
don't need to gorge.
Okay, so, let's just use that. All right? The test that God has given you is food is kind of scarce these days. You still have 5 days until you're paid, and you only have about 3 days worth of beans in the pantry. Okay? That's the test. Now, we go back over to verse 2 through 8, and we do all that. Or not. Okay? Now, you're in that position, and you have the Yetzer Hara, the bad inclination. Okay? It's calling the shots. So how is the Yetzer Hara seeing that, and what is its desire? What does it lead you to? What does it entice you toward?
I'm going to go write a hot check so that I can have more food.
Okay, I'm going to go do something illegal so I can have more food.
Or even just simply spending next month's money on a credit card.
Okay, I'm going to go on debt. I'm going to go with debt. Okay, what else?
Stealing it.
Stealing
But
it.
that's doing something illegal too.
Stealing it. All right. Well, okay, so I've already said we've got 3 days worth of beans. I mean, how many more days do we really need? If the payday is 5 days away.
Need 2 more days.
We just need 2 more days. But what is the Yetzer Hara enticing you to do?
Get it before it's time.
Get it before it's time.
And just out of curiosity, when we studied the edition, you talked about you should fast 2 days a week. I wonder if any of those days.
Oh.
Well, that's personal.
Okay. That is personal. But okay, let's we're not here.
You could also
But
take your
we're not
3 days
here.
worth of beans and divide them into 5 parts.
Okay, you could do that. But if the Yetzer Hatov is calling the shots, what and the Yetzer Hatov has gone over here to verses 2 through 8 and it's taken it to heart. Okay? Yetzer Hatov, not the Hara, is calling the shots. What is it telling you to do?
Eat the whole can right now and worry about tomorrow.
No. Hatov is saying, pray about it.
Pray about it.
Trust for today. You have
Trust-
today.
Trust for today.
Don't worry about tomorrow.
Don't worry about tomorrow.
But that doesn't mean to gorge and eat it all, because there is the
Wisdom and
of
pacing it out.
maintenance, you know,
Right.
whatever.
This is community, right? What else is it? Put it on Mighty.
Reach out.
Hey, reach out. And then it gives everybody in the community an opportunity to bless and to minister.
And we all pitch in and get 2 days worth of beans.
Good. Maybe
Which
the
is
Yetzer
what we should,
Hatov.
that's probably the most practical and best solution, because not only does it provide you with 5 days worth of beans, that's a lot of beans though, but maybe somebody could throw in a hot dog. But all beef. But it also lets all the other community members join in a blessing, because when you give, they always say, the old saying, it's better to give than receive. Well, there's truth in that. It does you as a person more good to know that you have helped someone. So if Brandon needs beans, I'm going to go out with several people and we're going to go grocery shopping and buying, a couple days worth of beans, maybe 3 just to make sure.
Our little social worker says, go mow a lawn and feed yourself.
Go mow, okay? All right. Okay, so,
We can do that
all right, so we kind of get this idea, okay, of how the Yetzer Hatov would respond. I mean, we're evened out,
Yeah,
okay?
start thinking
Now,
about what can I do.
Verse 14 is an uneven. Yetzer Hara is in charge. It is not paying attention to 2 through 8. How is it? How does this verse play out?
Well, it plays out into the next verse. It
Depends
grows
on
and
how-
Yeah,
grows.
give us the whole context.
Yeah, it really
Yeah.
does. It
Okay.
tells us what
My mother and
happened.
father spent their whole life without sense. They would buy things and get in debt, and they constantly had to go back to counselors to help them.
Mhm.
And I mean, their whole life was that way. That's the way I grew up. I didn't have no sense about how to do this.
Right?
And it took years for God to start getting thankful for my wife, that she had the sense to teach me that we can't just do that.
When the
You
Yetzer
gotta
Hara
live
doesn't
within your
have,
means and,
when the Yetzer Hara doesn't have the boundaries, and the boundaries are these verses, the boundaries are Torah, the boundaries are even the fasting,
The community.
All of those are boundaries for the Yetzer Hara. And when the Hara comes and knocks on the door, you recognize, you have the choice to keep the door closed or to let him in.
Perfect. Okay, so we got Ben Sarai. It says, he himself made man from the beginning and left him in the power of his own inclination. If you will, you can keep the commandments. He has placed before you fire and water. Stretch out your hand for whichever you wish. Okay, so there's this idea of balancing the inclination. All right, now,
What were the blanks on Second Temple Judaism? Because I thought I didn't bring mine. It was refinement and.
seduce.
I don't know where.
Are you-
Refining, testing, and evil temptation. Okay, thank you.
Yes. Oh, yeah, there it is.
Okay.
He has evil under-
Testing and temptation.
Okay. All right. So this is, okay, verse 14. But each one is tempted when he is dragged away and enticed by his own desire. Second Temple period understanding is the Yetzer Hara. There is no ridiculous idea of a sin nature taking over, not in view here. You may read that into that today.
That reminds me of, I mean, because there's the balance, you know, and what you train on and what you invest in. If you let yourself go, then it is like you're in bondage to that thing.
Absolutely.
So it's like someone is tying you up.
Yeah.
Because you didn't train any, and it's gonna be harder for you to get out of that.
That's right. That's right. All right. And this dragged away and enticed goes back to Proverbs 5-7. You know, it's likened to bait used by an adulteress to snare the naive. That's, I mean, Proverbs 5-7. Okay. In rabbinic midrash, I don't have this down, but it's Genesis Rabbah 22:6. Do I have that? No. Where it says sin is described as a force lying in wait. All right. It's just a force that's lying and it's waiting. All right. The word enticed is actually a fishing term where it's talking about catching fish by using a net or by using bait or something like that. All right. So that is from Yeshua's teaching. He says, for from within, out of the heart of man comes evil thoughts. Okay. And what James is saying based off of all of this on Second Temple period, we don't need Satan. We don't need a demon. We don't need bad influence from people around us. We are capable of sinning all on our own. Okay? That is what this is talking about. Okay?
So it ain't the devil made me do it?
It now maybe sometimes it is, but for the most part, you know, the blame lies squarely in
The devil
And
can
our not
entice
keeping-
you to do it. He doesn't make you do it.
Yeah, that's good. Okay, so this is calling for personal accountability. That's what this is calling for. Personal, which our culture today doesn't like that at all. They don't want to be accountable for anything.
I
No
can't
one does.
Not think of Adam and Eve. God created the Yetzer Hara and Yetzer Tov in Adam and Eve. They had this was there for a reason, and
Yep.
their test was a boundary.
Yep.
Don't.
Don't.
Cross the boundary line.
And they did have something there to tell them, oh, and they ignored the boundary. They ignored
Mhm.
the thing. And so that didn't change how we were born. We were still born with the same Yetzer Hara, same Yetzer Hatov, the same tests. It's not, they didn't start it. God did.
Mhm.
And they were just the first ones to cross the boundary.
Yep.
So the old cartoon or image of a man with the devil on one shoulder and an angel on the other has a certain amount of accuracy.
Yeah.
From a
That's
symbolic
the
standpoint.
Hara.
It
Yeah.
does. It's completely Hebraic.
Which
Yeah.
one are you gonna let really?
Yeah.
Well,
Which one are you gonna?
You really want a balance between the two.
You really need.
That just shows the
You-
influence that evangelicalism has had on our culture.
Exactly. You guys remember the Kabbalistic ladder that I showed you? Okay, with all the little circles. Okay.
Yeah.
On one side you got the Hara. On one side you got the Hatov. But you got these middle ones here that balance that. Okay. You've got that, and when they're out of balance, you have to have wisdom to balance them out. That's what James is talking about. Okay? That's what it's talking about, because if they're out of balance, then you are like a chaotic sea, tossed all about, and you are chaotic, you are unstable, and you're causing other people to be miserable. Okay? But if you ask wisdom for wisdom, that wisdom can balance that out. Right? Very, very Second Temple Jewish perspective. Okay?
To move to that next level.
And then you're ready to move to the next
You
level.
have to have that
Yes.
new wisdom.
Yes.
You can't read wisdom.
Right? Exactly. You got to have that chokmah. The chokmah. Okay? Now, how many churches would teach that? Okay? Oh, this is you Kabbalah. Ugh.
It's also known in the Indian cultures,
Yes,
whichever dog I feed the most is the one that's gonna win.
that's going to win.
And you've got the cartoons with the
That's what I just
angel.
said.
Yeah, that's what I'm, yeah. I'm talking about.
It's
Yeah.
very,
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. All right. So then we have when the Yetzer Hara is given all of the power. It's not balanced. You haven't asked for wisdom. Wisdom isn't going to balance it out. Okay. Then it entices you and it leads you to verse 15. Okay. But we don't have enough time for verse 15. So we're going to wait until
6
next week.
minutes?
No, not 6 minutes. No,
Maybe that's why we have less.
no.
No,
No,
we got
no,
too many
no.
notes to
We
cover.
got too
on
many
verse
notes.
15.
So we will cover verse 15
Yeah, 15 is the-
next week. Okay? So Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Glad you're here. Okay, Mighty, we're glad you're here. Also, I'm going to get off of here real fast and then come right back on. Okay?
You know, I want to find a duplicate